أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In order to understand the events that led to the incident of the cylinder, we cite the story in Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha's own word. She says, whenever the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went out on a journey, he decided by lots as to which of his wives should accompany him. Accordingly, it was decided that I should accompany him during the expedition to Bani al-Mustalik. On the return journey, the Holy Prophet ﷺ halted for the night at a place which was the last stage on the way back to Al-Madinah. It was still night when they began to make preparations for the march, so I went outside the camp to ease myself. When I returned and came near by a halting place, I noticed that my necklace had fallen down somewhere. I went back in search for it, but in the meantime the caravan moved off and I was left behind all alone. The four carriers of the litter had placed it on my camel without noticing that it was empty. This happened because of my light weight due to lack of food in those days. I wrapped myself in my sheet and lay down in the hope that when it would be found that I had been left behind, a search party would come back to pick me up. In the meantime, I fell asleep. In the morning, when Safwan bin Mu'attal Sulaimi passed that way, he saw me and recognized me, for he had seen me several times before the commandment about Purdah had been sent down. No sooner did he see me than he stopped his camel and cried out spontaneously, "How sad! The wife of Holy Prophet ﷺ has been left here." At this I woke up all of a sudden and covered my face with my sheet without uttering another word. He made his camel kneel by me and stood aside while I climbed onto the camel back. He led the camel by the nose string and we overtook the caravan at about noon, when it had just halted and nobody had yet noticed that I had been left behind. I learned afterward that this incident had been used to slander me, and Abdullah bin Ubay was foremost among the slanderers. According to other tradition, when Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha reached the camp on the camel led by Safwan, and it was known that she had been left behind, Abdullah bin Ubay cried out, "By God, she could not have remained chaste. Look, there comes the wife of your prophet openly on the camel led by the person with whom she passed the night."
When I reached Al Madinah, I fell ill and stayed in bed for more than a month. Though I was quite unaware of it, the news of the slander was spreading like a scandal in the city and had also reached the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Anyhow, I noticed that he did not seem as concerned about my illness he used to be. He would come, but without addressing me directly, would inquire from others how I was and leave the house. Therefore, it troubled my mind that something had gone wrong somewhere. So I took leave of him and went to my mother's house for better nursing. While I was there one night, I went out of the city to ease myself in the company of Mr. mother, who was a first cousin of my mother. As she was walking along, she stumbled over something and cried out spontaneously, "May Mr. perish." To this I retorted, "What a good mother you are that you curse your own son, the son who took part in the Battle of Badr." She replied, "My dear daughter, are you not aware of his scandal mongering?" Then she told me everything about the campaign of the slander. Besides the hypocrites, some true Muslim also had been involved in this. campaign, and among them who took leading part in it were Mistah, Hassan bin Sabit, the famous poet of Islam, and Hamna, daughter of Jash and sister of Hazrat Zainab radiallahu anhu. Hearing this horrible story, my blood curdled, and I immediately returned home and passed the rest of the night in crying over it. During my absence, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took counsel with Ali radiallahu anhu and Usama bin Zaid radiallahu anhu about this matter. Usama radiallahu anhu said good words about me to this effect, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have found nothing but good in your wife. All that is being spread about her is a lie and calumny. As regards Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no dearth of woman. You may, if you like, marry another wife. If, however, you would like to investigate into the matter, you may send for her maid servant and inquire into it through her. Accordingly, the maid servant was sent for and questioned. She replied, I declare on an oath by Allah, who has sent you with the truth, that I have never seen any evil thing in her, except that she falls asleep when I tell her to look after the needed dough in my absence, and a goat comes and eats it. On that same day, the Holy Prophet ﷺ addressed the people from the pulpit, saying, O Muslims, who from among you will defend my honor against the attacker of the person who has transgressed all bounds in doing harm to me by slandering my wife? By God, I have made a thorough inquiry and found nothing wrong with her nor with the man whose name has been linked with the slander. At this, Usaid bin Hudair or Saad bin Muaz, according to other traditions, stood up and said, O Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if that person belongs to our clan, we will kill him by ourselves. But if he belongs to the Khazraj clan, we will kill him if you order us to do so. Hearing this, Saad bin Ubadah, chief of the Khazraj clan, stood up and said, You lie, you can never kill him. You are saying this just because the person belongs to our clan of Khazraj. Had he belonged to your clan, you would never have said so. Hazrat Usaid retorted, You are a hypocrite. That is why you are defending a hypocrite. At this, there was a general turmoil in the mosque, which would have developed into a riot, even though the Holy Prophet ﷺ was present there the whole time, but he cooled down their anger and came down from the pulpit. The remaining detail of the incident will be cited along with our commentary on the text, which honorably absolved Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anhu from the blame.